Good evening. I'm Laura Kelser, part of the staff here at PCC, and I'm so honored to welcome you here to Blue Christmas. This service is a hallmark of the Christmas season here at PCC, a time when we get to set aside the hustle and bustle of the season, a time when we get to acknowledge that while it's the most wonderful time of the year for many, it may not be so wonderful for you or someone that you love. You may be dealing with the great loss of a loved one, a devastating diagnosis, loneliness, depression, overwhelm, in a word, grief. We all know what the weight of grief feels like. We each carry grief differently, and although it looks and feels different for every person, it's something we all have in common. I grieve, you grieve, your loved ones grieve, and together we are not alone. I'd like to share a written blessing with you. It's by Kate Bowler, and it's called A Blessing for Collective Grief. God, we are blindsided. What we thought was impossible, even unthinkable, has brought us to our knees. God, things don't make sense. The innocent still suffer, buildings still fall, families still grieve. Help us to know what to feel, what to do, how to grieve together. Blessed are we who let reality in, though our bodies shudder. Blessed are we who ask and wait and ask again, for answers that may not come, for hope that seems hard to find, for comfort that is not easily found. Along the way, show us how to live when we've lost the things we cannot get back. Remind us that you, O God, are our home and our refuge when life's cruelty and our fragility are too difficult to shoulder alone. Be with us, O God, of all comfort. The Bible reminds us in Psalm 34 that God is near the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Our prayer for you tonight is that you will cling to this truth and God's promise as you honor your grief and your loss. Let's pray. God, thank you for this beautiful night that you've given us to gather, to be still, and to be in your presence. God, we praise you that in every season and circumstance, your promises are true. Help us to remember and cling to your promises when we are overwhelmed by the weight of grief. We put our trust in you. Thank you for being God with us, for being with us tonight. Please move in this place. In Jesus' name, amen. There's an index card and a pen on your chair as you came in tonight. We invite you to take this time to give words to your grief, to write it down on that card. Perhaps it's the name of someone you've lost to death or separation or estrangement. It might be the loss of a dream, a betrayal, or broken trust. Whatever it is, we invite you to write it down. And when you finish, while the music is playing, go ahead and bring your card to the front and place it in the basket on the table. Take your time, and when you're finished writing, feel free to bring it to the basket.
mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
I'll be honest, standing here is scary. But if talking about our journey can help anyone, I'm willing to try. Grief is something that can stay with you. It's with me when I go to bed. It's there when I wake up. It's been 2 years, 5 months, 16 days since my beautiful daughter left this world. It's still raw. It's raw for everyone in our little world. We love her and we miss her so much. But the pain of losing Jasmine it's still very real after all this time. The wound continues to open.
But God, in his loving way, provides the hope and love needed to take that next step every day. We try and talk about her whenever we can, and he still sends reminders of our sweet Jasmine. One day in early November, this November, I went to walk the dogs and I noticed that my jasmine plant had started to bloom. It was covered in buds. It still is. I've learned to be thankful for the small things. I've learned and am still learning to seek peace. I've read The Contented Life as one of my daily devotionals, and it's been a great source of encouragement. I'd like to share this quote from a recent reading by David Koop in hopes that it will encourage you as well. It's a reflection on Isaiah 26:3, which says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Someone once said, "Peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God." Trust in God brings inner peace and contentment that the world cannot take away and it cannot give. You'll notice in this verse that peace has to be kept. It's easy to lose your peace when trouble comes. And what keeps your peace is directly related to where you fix your mind. Peace can seem elusive in this world. Many factors can take your mind off of God and cause your inner peace to dissipate. These can include fear, busyness, shame, betrayal, and pride. Or it can be the striving for more and more, hoping that a promotion, a raise, or move to a new location will finally bring your peace, only to discover that you did not find peace at all. You can only find real peace when you remain steadfastly focused on God. The key is to focus on his unchanging promise. Keep your mind on Jesus, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
I can make it through the day when you're with me all the way. In my heart and mind you'll stay. I can make it through the night when I'm clinging to your light. You will make the darkness bright. For you are always, always with me. For you are always, always with me. In the calm and in the storm, when it seems I'm all alone, it's your hand I find to hold. In each hour of unrest, when it seems I've nothing left, you speak peace in every breath. And for you are always, always with me. For you are always, always in the morning, in the evening, when I'm waking, when I'm sleeping, when I'm arriving, and when I'm leaving, you will have me in your keeping. And even from my mother's womb, and never hidden from your view, I was always known to you. And when I fade away in death, you will catch my final breath, and you will take me to my rest.
Good evening. I'm Nick Waters. Within 6 months of graduating high school, I found my best friend dead from a drug overdose. I lost both of my World War II veteran grandfathers, and my oldest friend was shot and killed trying to break up a fight. This capped off a turbulent childhood where I was physically abused by 2 different women and felt abandoned by my father over a falling out we had that lasted 4 years. To say I felt alone was an understatement. A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder. However, as I reflect back on my life, this could just be a symptom of going through most of my life feeling alone. Along with that anxiety and the feeling of being alone, I've always fought the belief that I'm never going to be good enough. On one hand, that feeling made me incredibly driven because I was always trying to prove that negative voice wrong. But over time, I got tired of fighting that voice, and then that voice started winning. It started to win after I left my job at the fire department to run my tree business full time. After a few years of doing that, my wife and I realized we were basically paying somebody else to raise our kids. So I stayed home for a while. I love being a parent, but I frequently felt like I was failing. And being at home instead of in the workplace or with other people was isolating. Eventually, with the weight of the isolation, the negative self-talk, the anxiety, maybe some PTSD from my childhood and my job as a firefighter became too much to carry. I decided to reach out to my doctor, who prescribed medication that took the edge off, and also started EMDR therapy, which I found really helpful. Eventually, that therapy helped me with my marriage, with my mental health, and with my relationships with some of my other family members. I learned how to reframe things that happen in life in a way I could learn from them instead of letting them tear me down. While therapy was very helpful, it was far from easy. Even though I was getting positive results from therapy, a huge rift had opened up between my wife and I. Thank God it didn't happen, but just last year, we were on the verge of separation. And again, the thought that I wasn't good enough and that I was going to be alone haunted me. I reached a point where I felt completely worthless. And in tears, I cried out to God and asked him if I was worthy of love. I begged him to show me that I was loved. And in those moments of prayer, I thought about all the childhood friends I had lost to drug overdoses or violence. And I imagined them seeing my life now. A beautiful wife, 3 healthy children, and a beautiful home. I had the feeling that they would be happy for me, that they would want me to enjoy my life. A life that we all probably wish we had growing up. Maybe I felt like I didn't deserve my blessings. Maybe I felt that way because I listened to what the world told me. The world told me that I wasn't good enough and that the people that I cared for would hurt me. But that's not what God told me. He told me he loves me. He told me that I matter to him. When I opened my eyes to see, I became aware when I was hurting, when I had nothing, when I was happy and when I had everything, he was always there. Anytime I reached out, his hand was already outstretched, waiting for mine. In the Gospel of John, on the eve of his crucifixion, Jesus exemplifies what our faith should look like when we feel alone. Jesus says, "A time is coming when you will be scattered, each to your own home. You will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for my Father is with me. I have told you these things so that you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." What I've learned through this battle with anxiety and loneliness is that there are going to be difficulties thrown at you that make you doubt your place in God's kingdom, make you second guess how you feel about God and how God feels about you. But I take comfort in my faith in Jesus, that I am never alone, that I am loved, and everything's in God's hands.
This ain't true. My heart sank learning you. Left us all too soon. Somebody help me, please. Somebody help me, please. Decisions I don't wanna make. Abandoning logic, my good sense disappears. What I'd give to relive every moment again. What I'd give to relive every moment again. Bluest sky seems so rude. Doesn't it know I'm broken in two? The world won't stop, but I can't move. Why did goodbye have to come so soon? Oh, hold on to me and don't let go. I'm hanging out here all alone in your echoes, searching for signs you're still here. Abandoning logic, my good sense disappears. What I'd give to relive every moment again. What I'd give to relive every moment again. So hold on to me and don't let go. I'm hanging out here all alone in your echoes, searching for signs you're still here, abandoning logic. My good sense disappears. What I give to relive every moment again. Oh, what I give to relive every moment again. Mind goes blank, this ain't true. My heart sank learning you. Left us all too soon. Somebody help me, please. Somebody help me, please.
What I'd give to relive every moment. We've all had a day like that. A day that we would love to live over and over again. The perfect day that summer on vacation, where everyone was getting along. And the weather was perfect and the evening came too soon. The day that all of our hard work paid off and we finally got the job and the possibilities seemed endless. The day we closed on the house, the day you brought her home from the hospital, or the day they said, I love you for the first time. Perfect days, or at least perfectly memorable. I was 25 years old when the perfect girl for me, Michelle, my wife, called me from Virginia and said, I found a place for us to rent. She'd be headed back to Florida just a week later to help me move our life almost 800 miles away from everything that I'd ever known. And a week later, we pulled into the driveway of a small house. And that night, exhausted from the trip, we threw a mattress on the floor and tried to sleep. I say tried to sleep because thoughts were racing through my head, all the things that needed to be done. I needed a job. We had to unpack. I didn't know anyone here. I didn't know anyone. But I counted my blessings that night. The day was challenging, but I got the girl. I had a roof over my head, and tomorrow was another day to tackle all of those things. It was a good day. In no time, I found a job, and I literally started working the afternoon I got the job, and then as if God had lined it up for me, I met my first real friend on that first day, Lenny Jefferson. Sometimes you find a person, a friend, though unexpected, that seems like they've been in your life your whole life. Our circle grew over the years and people came and went, but Lenny was family from day one, and we were inseparable. There were lots of perfect days, and weekend cookouts, trips to see shows, long Sunday afternoons watching football, Thanksgiving dinners, wrestling. We loved wrestling, and Christmas time around the tree. Lenny was there when our first child, Haven, was born. And why wouldn't he be? He was Uncle Lenny. God had delivered a real blessing to me, a wife and a family and another brother to share that so far away from home. Lenny was so close to us that when my actual blood brother Curtis moved from Florida, they became roommates almost within a week. It felt like the family was complete. There were so many days that I hoped would never end until that day. Lenny got a cold, like we all do this time of year, and then suddenly he was very sick. So sick that he had to take leave from work, where he was a beloved high school teacher and football coach. And when someone in your family is sick, you know what we do. We show up. We all rallied. We joked. We made fun of him. We all thought it was a bad bug, that's all. But Lenny kept to himself all of the things that he was going through until the day that he asked my brother and I to take him to an appointment because he didn't feel up to driving. And as I walked into the oncology unit with him, I just stared into space shocked. And as he went through the doors for his appointment, my brother and I, we just sat there, not knowing what to say. And an hour passed. And then suddenly, in Lenny fashion, he burst out the doors with this big smile into the waiting room. And with that smile on his face, he said, "Hey, let's hit the mall. Let's get something to eat." "Something to eat?" we asked. "What's going on?" Lenny just laughed and said, "Yeah, something to eat. I'm hungry, and I got Christmas shopping to do. Let's go." Totally ignoring all of our questions, Lenny talked about what kind of food he wanted. Sbarro or Chick-fil-A. Both, he said. Let's get both. So maybe the news was good, I thought. He's smiling. He seems okay. And after ordering food literally at both places, he took a few bites from each and packed it up. Pulled out a small piece of paper with a Christmas list on it, and we started walking from store to store. And he made fun of us every chance he got in life. He kept asking us, "Are we okay? Are you guys okay? You're so quiet. Normally, you guys can't shut up. I can't get a word in edgewise between the two of you." And the picking went on. And of course, we returned fire, joking back and forth. But then I finally managed a question. "Lenny, why were we at the oncologist this morning?" "Eliminating possibilities," he said. Totally dismissing the reason for my question. "What did they say?" I asked. "Nothing really. They're not sure what it is, but one thing's for sure," he said. "I'm sick, or at least sick in the head." And he belted out a laugh. "They got some specialist coming in to look at it, but that's all I know right now. I'm special. I need a specialist." That's what he said. I knew he wasn't going to be serious, so we just shopped and laughed until he needed a break. He told us to go ahead to the next store, and he'd sit in the food court for a while, pick him up on the way back by, and 30 minutes later we returned. But there was a different look on his face. Very seriously, he looked up at us. "They called back," he said. "It's bad. They weren't sure this morning, but it's cancer and it's bad. I have to start treatment on Monday." I can hear those words ring in my ears, even today. Lenny was 30 years old, newly engaged, with so many perfect days ahead of him to look forward to. But other than the day he left us, that day was the worst. And he fought and believed, as we all did, that God would heal him. He fought long enough to make it till the next September when our daughter Lorelei was born. And he called me from the hospital and he said, "I need you to bring her to me." He had just had this intense surgery. And he held her in that hospital bed, just a few weeks old. And we talked about plans that we had made. He asked us what we were up to for the Easter holiday that'd be coming up in the spring. We were headed back to Florida. He was excited, as he often did. He was like, "Hey, make sure I have a big room when I get there." That spring, we left on a Saturday. And the night before, my brothers and I, Lenny included, got together and we watched wrestling together. And about 30 minutes into our night, Lenny fell asleep on the couch early, but we were just glad to be with him. 3 days later, I was 800 miles away back home on a beach when the call came in. Lenny was critical and in the hospital. And I planned a flight back home the next day. But late that afternoon, as I carried our baby girl in one arm and held the hand of my son walking towards the beach, Michelle called me from the balcony, and I looked up as she mouthed the words, "He's gone." He's gone? How could it be? We were just together. I was hurt and I was angry as I stared at the ocean that day, trying to grieve quietly until I was ready to say something. Until I was ready to tell my son that his Uncle Lenny was gone. How was I going to do that? And why did I have to? Where was God when we needed him? I wish I could forget that day. And every year the holidays are hard because part of my life is missing. Like some of you, I come to this sacred night to remember the lost. And as the holidays arrive with all of its wonder and celebration, we feel the full weight of the challenging and hard days that we've endured. The days when the dream job turns into a nightmare and we hear the words, "You're laid off." The day when the fighting and turmoil boils over and it feels like a family gathering is a ticking time bomb. The day they said, "I'm leaving," it's over. The loss of a dream or the possibilities that we thought were ours. The loved one we lost. And with them, the hope and the promise of many wonderful and memorable days ahead. Every year, we offer this space on this night that we call Blue Christmas as a sacred space. Realizing that loss of all kinds is not momentary, it's cumulative. This grief is real, and it won't be ignored. The pain we experience isn't forgotten. It's imprinted on us, and we carry it with us. So we come to express it, to recognize it, and to name it. And in doing so, we hope that we can find some hope for the life that we have ahead of us. But we're not the first people to do this. This has been the cry of God's people for centuries, expressed earnestly in words like this from the Psalms.
Hear my prayers, Lord. You hear my pain, my cries for help. Please listen. Don't turn your face from me. Don't turn your back when I am distressed, so desperate. I'm crying out for your help. Please hurry. Hear me, Lord. Please answer me. I am poor. I am needy. I'm so miserable. Have I not lived a good life? Help me. I'm depending on you. I'm trusting in you. I've been faithful to you. I want to be faithful to you. You are my God. Save me, your servant. Have mercy on me. Help me, Lord. I'm waiting for your reply. I need you. Life is hard and I'm miserable. Hear me. I count on you from the moment I wake up in the morning until the day's end. God, we know that you are present. You are a safe place to hide. You are our refuge and our strength. You are ready to help whenever we need it. With you, we can stand fearless, even at the edge of a cliff, even in the midst of life's earthquakes, life's stormy seas, or shifting mountains. God, you fight for us. You protect us.
Taking up his pen, C.S. Lewis wrote these words about the loss of his wife. He said, "No one ever told me that grief felt so much like fear. I'm not afraid. but the sensation is like being afraid. The same fluttering in the stomach, the same restlessness, the yawning, I keep swallowing. I really never considered grief to be like fear, but it makes sense. When we lose something or someone so important to us, we start to question, what else is there to lose? There's this feeling that the other shoe could fall at any moment. I'm honored to be called upon when there's loss in people's lives, sudden or not. A death, or to sit with someone who needs to process a drastic and painful change in their life. And sometimes as a person processes, I can hear the anticipation of the unknown, the changing, the difficulties that could occur. It's not fear, but it feels like it. The trouble and hurt that we endure is similar. The psalmist wrote about that grief and uncertainty. In our despair, these words that we heard, we cry out, wishing for something to relieve our pain. For God to deliver us from the situation that we're in, to reverse it somehow. For that feeling, which like fear flutters in us and lingers us and causes us to stop, or at least we want it to stop and be bearable. Because grief and loss exposes us. It brings a rawness to our lives and it depletes our strength. But did you hear it though in those words? It's not just the answers we want or the prayers answered because they may not come. It's the presence of God that we need, the refuge in his strength. A strength that's ever present in our time of trouble, always there regardless of what comes next. God offers that, whether that pain for you started a long time ago or those wounds are fresh this year. That presence is the reason that we celebrate this time of year. A time we mark that God looked down on us and saw the despair of our world, the pain and the loss and the war and the anger, and he decided that he would come to us and be ever present. Jesus was born into a world begging for his presence. Jesus, who grew up and had relationships and a family, experienced life like you and I experienced loss and grief too. When his cousin John was killed by the king, it says Jesus withdrew to a deserted place to grieve. When the news came of his good friend Lazarus' death, we were told that he wept. And when he was betrayed by his friend Judas, Jesus said, "Do what you came for, friend." But the betrayal was real. Jesus understands. God understands your hurt. And Jesus reminds us of the refuge and strength we need in the promise in his words.
Blessed are you who mourn, for you will be comforted. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. You are blessed when the tears flow freely, for joy comes with the morning. Jesus leaves his peace with us. We are not abandoned. The Father is with us. In trusting him, we can be unshakable and assured, at peace, deeply at peace. Even when we experience difficulties, we don't have to worry because he has overcome the world. Jesus has overcome the world. He promises to be present with us day after day after day, right up until the end of the age.
Jesus had a special place for shepherds in his heart. And in John chapter 10, he expresses his shepherdship of our lives. When he tells us that amongst us the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but he says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the fullest. Life to the fullest. Before my brother Lenny left us, we had some powerful moments together, some prayers, and talks about what the future would hold and the hopes that I had. And in one of those conversations, he said, Bryan, just remember to live well. Don't just get by after I'm gone. Do it well. I never forgot those words. They're words I live by today. It's what Jesus offers us. His love for us, a life worth living, life to the fullest, life more abundant. Time has passed, and the hard days that I've endured and grief still live in my memory, but they are outweighed by the abundance of life I got to spend with my friend. The perfect days I wish would never end are still available to me. The laughter and moments we shared, the precious blessings of our time together are ever present in his words to me, Bryan, just live well. And I believe by doing that I honor him and I honor my loss by finding hope to endure and move ahead. It's the hope and peace that Jesus talked about in his presence. And he offers it to all of us today, a reminder of the future that is ahead of you. And the God of all creation who hears you and is there to comfort you and strengthen you, he wants to give you a full life. Our mourning and our cries are not empty. He has come to us, and he will never leave us.
Where is God in the heartache? Where is God in the fear? Where is God when it hurts so bad that you can't hold back the tears? Where is God in the sickness that the prayers didn't fix? When it don't make sense, where is God in all of this? He is right here where he's always been. He never left and he never will. Where is God? God is with us. He is right here where he's always been. It's where he'll be until the very end. Where is God? God is with us. Where is God in the ashes of a broken home? Where is God when we lose the ones we love the most? Where is God in addiction when you lost the battle again? When it's all too much, where is God in all of this? He is right here where he's always been. He never left and he
might never know the answers, we might never know the outcome, but we know Jesus. We know Jesus. Even when we face the darkness, we know better days are coming, 'cause we know Jesus. We know Jesus. He is right here where he's always been. He never left and he never will. Where is God? God is with us. He is right here where he's always been. It's where he'll be till the very end. Where is God? God is with us. So where is God? God is with us.
God is with us. He's never left us. He's always been there. And we want to be there for you too. As you leave tonight, there are two things we want to bring to your attention. During our service tonight, our wonderful artists have taken your memories and created this beautiful artwork to my left that you can stay in the room here and enjoy. There's no need to rush off. Spend time reflecting. If you need this space, we want to offer it to you. And as you leave tonight at our information center, Debbie Jackson and her team who lead Grief Share, that's going to be starting up in January. We offer you the opportunity to come alongside them as they guide you through on Saturdays starting in the new year, a chance to share your grief and to walk with somebody through it. As we end our service tonight, let the God who is always with us, let his peace and presence go with you tonight. Let him remind you that when you need him, he's always there rushing to your side. May he comfort you in your mourning and remind you of the days ahead of you. Amen.